All right, here we are starting chapter 3. Our first section is 3.1 lines and angles, and it's mostly just vocabulary, so this won't be too much to get down. Lines and angles. All right, so we've talked about parallel lines before, so let's just define those. These are two lines that are coplanar, so they're on the same plane, and they do not intersect. So in algebra, we would say that they have the same slope. They rise and run the same, and they don't intersect. The symbol for parallel are just the two lines that are straight up and down running parallel. Perpendicular are two lines that intersect to form right angles, 90 degrees. Two lines that intersect to form right angles. All right, and so the symbol for perpendicular is an upside down T. Skew lines, these are two lines that do not intersect, and they're also not coplanar. So it's looking like they're going to be parallel, but they are not coplanar. So they're on different sides of the room, if you will. We can say they're all skewed up. You know, it might be on the front of the room and on the front, wall, left wall here, this edge, and then maybe on the bottom edge, back edge right here. So something like that. And then parallel planes are just two planes that do not intersect. So this is just vocabulary. And we've used all of this language before. Maybe not skew. But just remember, skew is all skewed up. Okay, two parallel lines. Use the room as a model to sketch the following. Use color to clearly identify your work. So two parallel lines. You could use many lines here. You could use this line parallel to this line. You could use this line parallel to this line. You could go on the diagonals here and this line or this line. Anything that's on the same plane. So if they're on the left, they need to both be on the left. If they're on the right, they both need to be on the right. If they're on the bottom, they both need to be on the bottom, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to use these two right here on the front. These would be parallel lines. Perpendicular, just find two that meet at a corner. That would make them meeting there at that right angle. And I'm just going to go ahead and let it keep going through because these lines do go on and on forever. So that left side and that bottom, both on the front wall, that would make that corner, that right angle right there. We'll color that in. And then skew lines, like I said, we just want to make sure that they are not on the same plane, and so you also don't want them to not intersect and then not be on the same plane. So let's just do this bottom here. Okay, and then let's just get on a totally different plane. So this is the front of the room. So let's pop to the back of the room, and then you don't want to choose this on the bottom because that would be on the same plane. That would be parallel. So we want to choose a different, not the bottom, but let's do the side here on the back wall, and these would not intersect. They're on a different dimension. Okay, so it looks like they're going to intersect right here, but think three-dimensionally. This is to the front and that's to the back. Those would be skew. Parallel planes, that could just be like the ceiling and the floor. And then perpendicular planes could just be like the ceiling and this right wall. That would be a perpendicular plane. That's not listed up there at the top, but it's the same idea. All right, new word here. A transversal is a line that intersects two or more coplanar, same plane, lines at different points. All right, we usually have it at 2, but sometimes there's more at different points, so we'll just say different. So right now, these lines are just random lines. In 3.2, these are going to become parallel, and that's the big idea of this chapter. But right now, this is just a random A, a random B. They are coplanar, and this T is just cutting through them It's a transversal to A and B. So right here, T is your transversal. And what it does is it creates a ton of angles. So when it cuts the line A and B, you get angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these are going to be angle pairs, and they're going to have relationships in terms of their measure. So how many angles are formed? You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 angles are formed. Oh, 8. Here, there's the blank. Then how many different angle measures are formed? Well, what we can use here is our knowledge about vertical angles being congruent. That's going to come up a ton, as I promised, all year. And so in terms of their measures, well, 1 is going to be the same as 4 because they're vertical, and 2 is going to be the same as 3 because they're vertical. Pop down here. 5 is going to be the same as 8 because they're vertical, and 7 is going to be the same as 6 because they're vertical. And so those are how many, the different measures you'll have for. So let's list all pairs of vertical angles. Angle 1 and angle 4. These are just what I read. Angle 2 and angle 3. Angle 5 and 8. And the last one here, angle 6 and angle 7. And then we have some supplementary angles. We have supplementary angles because we can see lines. We can see linear pairs, and the linear pair postulate says then you will have supplementary angles. And then the definition of supplementary goes on to say that they're equal to 180. But right now we're just going to list the supplementary. So you can see that 1 and 2 are supplementary. Angle 1 and angle 2. Switch your perspective here and go vertical. Angle 2 and 4. There's going to be a lot of these. 4 would make a line with 3. So they would be supplementary by the linear pair postulate. And then 3 can link back and make a line with 1. So full circle there, you just have to connect all of those as angle pairs that are linear pair postulate and therefore supplementary. Same thing down here, we'll do 5 with 6, 6 with 8, 8 with 7, and 7 with 5. So you're going to get a total of 8 supplementary pairs here. Angle 5 and angle 6, angle 6 and angle 8, angle 8 and angle 7, and then angle 7 and angle 5. So supplementary, supplementary, 8 and 7, and then 7 and 5. All right, so some new angle types that are formed. Out of focus here, let's see if that helps. Some new angle types that are formed with this transversal. We have interior angles, exterior angles, alternate interior angles, corresponding angles, and same side interior angles or consecutive interior angles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new vocabulary words. So interior angles are between lines A and B. So let me get that diagram up here. And I'm going to erase my circle where I was doing the supplementary piece. Okay, so between the lines would be interior. So, interior would be between A and B. So 3, 4, 5, and 6 are going to be your interior angles. Angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, and angle 6 between lines A and B. Exterior angles are ones that lie outside angle lines A and B. So A and B are here. Outside would be basically on top or on bottom here. So this is angle 1, angle 2, angle 7, and angle 8. Alternate angles are going to be ones that lie on either side of the transversal. So alternate angles are 2 angles that are on opposite sides. Got the word sides right there. 2 angles that lie on opposite sides of the transversal. There are 2 types, and we're just going to put these 3 together. We have alternate interior angles, so they alternate in there between A and B, and then alternate exterior. They alternate sides of the transversal, and they lie outside lines A and B. Okay, so let's do our pairs of alternate interior angles and then our pairs of alternate exterior. So I'm going to just do a little diagram here. Alternate interior angles. So just redraw this A and this B, and here's my transversal T. So alternate interior would be, here's this 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 and 6 would be alternate interior angles. They alternate and they're on the inside. And then we have 4 and 5. 4 and 5 would be alternate interior angles. And so the angle that we're looking at is here and here. That angle that's formed by the line B in the transversal, and then the angle that's formed by line A in the transversal. And so then this one is this angle here and this angle here. Alternate exteriors are exactly what you would think. They alternate and they are outside. So alternate, I'm going to abbreviate here, exterior angles. And we'll draw this again. There's A, there's B, and here's the transversal T. And so I'm looking on 1 here, this angle 1, and then on the other side, but exterior would be angle 8. So those are exterior, angle 1 and angle 8. And then let's do up here, we have 2, that's outside, and it's on the right, and then 7 is outside, and it's on the left. So that would be angle 2 and angle 7. All right, so there are your alternate interior angles and your alternate exterior angles. I hope that makes sense. Our next piece here is going to be our corresponding angles. So corresponding angles are 2 angles that occupy corresponding positions. Corresponding positions. So let's just draw this picture here once again. There's A, and there's B, and we'll run that transversal through. There's that transversal T. So corresponding angles, what are corresponding positions? So they're both going to be, we're going to get rid of the word interior and exterior, and we're going to replace that with above or below. So we're going to say, all right, if we're to the left and above the line, that's angle 1, and if we're to the left and above the line, that's angle 5. Those would be corresponding. They're left and above. You could be left and below. So 3, I'm going to use color here, 3 and 7 would be corresponding. They're left and below. No more thinking about the exterior or interior. And then over here we have 2 is right and above. That's really light. That's in green. That's right and above on 2 up here. And then 6 is right and above. One more color. What other color do I have here? Maybe my pink will work. And then last but not least, we're going to be right and below. So this is 4 and 8. So lots of corresponding angles here. We have the 1 and 5, left and above. We have 3 and 7, left and below. We have 2 and 6. That is right and above. And then we have 4 and 8. And that is right and below. So those are your corresponding. Let's put corresponding here. All right, so same side interior or consecutive interior, back to that word interior here. And it's just, instead of alternating, they're just going to be on the same side. So same side interior angles or consecutive interior angles are two angles who are on the same side and they're also interior. So they're basically just on the same side and they're interior. So 3 and 5 are on the inside and they're on the same side. 4 and 6 are on the same side and they're on the inside. So those would be your same side interior. Those are pretty easy to identify. So angle 3 and angle 5 and then 4 and 6. And we are going to talk about these angle pairs a ton because there's going to be some relationships in their measures. Okay, last little piece up here is at the top of the notes. It just says draw a diagram. Line E intersects trapezoid A, B, C, D. Sketch a diagram that meets the following conditions. So we've got A, B, D, C are parallel. So we're going to draw a trapezoid, and we want to make sure the parallel lines are A, B, and D, C. So a trapezoid is formed with two parallel lines. And go like that, and then we just connect. And it wants these to be the parallel lines, so we need to call that A, B, and then DC are parallel, so we'll do A, B, and we could just label it however, C, D. Typically go in order there, A, B, C, D. All right, so line E intersects, so let's just have line E intersect, whichever way you want it to point, that's fine, just E is intersecting. And A, B, and DC are parallel, so I'm going to make the parallel marks on that, which is a little arrow. That shows that they are parallel. And we want to label the angles such that 1 and 6 are alternate exterior, so opposite sides and exterior to the parallel lines. So 1 is outside of these parallel lines, and then 6. And then 2 and 3 are same side interior. So you might put them here, but once you get to step D, you might run into trouble. So I'm just going to do this the correct way, and if it didn't work out correct, you would just want to adjust. So 2 and 3 are same side interior. Okay, so I could put them here. I could also put them here, but then you'll see that I don't think we can get D to work. And then 4 and 5 are each supplementary to 3. So 3 being supplementary to 4, we could put 4 here. And then 5 being supplementary to 3, we can put 5 here. So you can see if you had put 2 and 3 here, you wouldn't be able to put 5 right here to be supplementary because it's already occupied to 6. So for my diagram, this is how it has to be labeled. This is the symbol for parallel on a diagram. Okay, and hopefully this all makes sense. Your diagram might look a little different if you labeled maybe 1 over here and 6 over here, then things would get shifted. But for our purposes, there you go. So good luck with your Math Excel, and if you are taking this test, or taking this, or if you're watching this after your test, I hope you did well. And if you're taking your test in the next class period, happy studying. All right, bye guys.